really, really thought I wouldn't notice, huh? They thought you wouldn't notice either. And honestly, they were almost right. Almost. Because for the last year and a half now, they've been releasing the same hardware again and again and calling it new. But it's not. The worst part is that all of it on paper, it actually all looks really good. Sorry. Until you put it on. HTC has been doing this thing for a while where they'll announce new hardware, but when you actually look at it, there is nothing new about it. The Focus Vision? Yeah, try a Focus 3 with more RAM and some color cameras on the front. That's it. That's the innovation. But it's not a new product. It's trying to be for a new audience. Now, the Focus Vision was never meant for people like you or for me. It was meant to be an enterprise headset for things like VR arcades, or corporate trainings, or even for military contracts. But when that didn't sell very well, instead of trying to fix their product, they just changed who they were trying to sell it to. The trouble is, on paper, they look incredible. 5K resolution, 2448 per eye, 120 degree field of view, and eye tracking is included this time, which was like a $150 or $200 module you had to buy separate for the Focus 3, as well as the face tracking module for $100 for both of them. And if you were new to VR, it might look like a steal, but something very, very important is missing. They didn't bother to tell you what lenses this thing has. Not in the ads, well, except for this one that had this very fake looking quote from, well, it isn't quoted, so we don't know who said it. And for the Focus Vision, this is not an accident. They didn't lie to anybody. The spec sheet isn't lying to you. It's just not telling you about a part that really, really matters, especially on what's now a $1,300 headset. These are some of the worst Fresnel lenses currently being sold, or that have been being sold for like the last 10 years. You can have all the resolution in pixels in the world, but if you're not allowed to move your eyes out of the very center and, I don't know, look from left to right to actually see those pixels, there's no point. It's blurry, it'll hurt your eyes, and it is not worth over $1,000 in 2026, nor was it in 2025. The 5K thing doesn't matter. If you look off center, it's blurry and you can't see a thing. Sorry, HTC, and I really apologize for bullying the multi-million-dollar company here, but you can't brute force your way out of bad optics by trying to boost other specs. You know that thing I said about fake quotes? Well, when it comes to their advertisements, there's more. This headset just works, no compromises. Oh, thank God. I was worried that we were about to spend over $1,000 on something that has a wireless adapter that's so unstable you can't use the wireless feature that it's sold to you for. I like that there's no name, no source. Just vibes, really. Like, who really had to have said that for it to be a quote? And you know something? I called them out on this. What did they do? Rerun the ad. Now they suddenly have Reddit user. You know what happens if you search for the Focus Vision and the Focus 3 on Reddit? You get a bunch of posts about people that are disappointed and sent it back. Sorry, HTC, but adding Reddit user to your ad isn't a review, it's set dressing. Homework assignment. If you combine this review, you get a pat on the back. But hey, let's go back to that wireless thing I was talking about. The headset's selling itself primarily as a wireless headset for PC, VR, and otherwise, which doesn't make sense for that otherwise category because they have an almost completely underdeveloped app catalog of their own. But that wireless PC stuff barely works. The reason being is the wireless chip that they use in both headsets, because again, they're the same headset, is completely unstable on either the 5 or 6 GHz band, which it is only certified up to, by the way. So what do? Now they sell you a cable, and then later bundle it. Ain't that big news? No, that's how it should have shipped, because they had the entire lifespan of the Focus 3 to come up with a fix for the problem. But no, they went and used the exact same internals for the exact same product, again. There's another product though that they launched around the same time that could have also been really good, but again, one simple factor holds it back. This is Vive's new generation of full body tracker. Looks a little different, doesn't it? That's because it doesn't use base stations anymore. It's got 2 cameras on it, one there and one there. But when they launched, they were only compatible to be used with the Focus Vision, Focus 3, and the XR Elite, none of which are headsets that are worth the money. Now eventually when they realized that, no one bought these headsets, So who's gonna buy the trackers? They put together a really cool project to make a PC app so other headsets could use the trackers. Unfortunately, it made them harder to use with other headsets than trying to say use a Lighthouse tracker with a Quest headset. Because for that, all you do is slap one on there and do a continuous calibration, and you're done. With these, you have to do a calibration that takes about 15 minutes, where you scan your entire room up and down, left and right, facing all 4 directions, and make a static map of the room it's gonna work in. And you better have shit on your walls, because if it's not visually distinct, the map is not going to work. And God forbid you move anything, because now the map is really not gonna work. But now once the developer got this software in a workable state, they ran another ad campaign. Works with Quest. The same way it works with the first party headset. HTC, yeah, they were just referring to using their beta software and selling it as works with. Another dishonest ad run. Hooray! They work really great with that headset, but with anything else, they're really not worth $700 for 3 of them. Frosty, wake up. There's holiday savings. Well, deck the halls with boughs of holly and an over $1,000 headset from HTC. Luxury this holiday. Best PC VR. I doubt it. The Focus 3 and Vision are far from luxury. It's a clearance item with a marketing budget. And that big sale? 4.5% on the bundle.
Merry Chrysler.
Yeah. HTC trying to wrap up their old hardware and sell it to you as luxury holiday items. Wait a minute. Go back to that last world. As if all of that other stuff wasn't bad enough, when they launched the Focus Vision, they had a VR chat world made. And before we go any further, this world is very well made by a very cool creator. They're right there. I've never met them, so if they're controversial and canceled, whoops. It looks amazing and runs spectacularly. The cringe is on HTC's part. They have this entire room made to celebrate the launch of their brand new, groundbreaking product during what I could only assume was a live event. If this looks boring, don't worry, it gets better, because we have games. We can play the HTC Never Have I Ever. Do you have Vive Body Tracker? But did you buy extra? Do you have a Vive friend? Have you thought about dating them? Do you have more than 2 Vive headsets? If not, I'm afraid you're not going to be able to finish the game and get into the special kid room, where we have Vive Beer Pong. We can play Vive Spin the Bottle so we can kiss our Vive game. We've even got Vive Pool. And the Vive Pool. Man, nothing sure says luxury like drinking the Vive bathwater. And again, lovely design. But the thought of HTC commissioning something like this gives massive, oh hello fellow kids vibe. This here's my favorite part. These 2 3D models are the earliest anyone would have been able to know that this had Fresnel lenses in it. Because again, not on the spec sheet and not in the ads until long after it was a flop. Nah, get a look in there. See those lovely concentric rings in there? Cause I do. Same goes for the one up here on the wall. Look, we just get right in there. Now for some reason, there's a lot of copium that surrounds this headset. And again, I'm only gonna go off about this headset because I've used it. Personally, but God, not for full price. Remember I said these things were for arcades and corporate trainings? One such corporate training was the company my father works for. He's a cardiovascular technician. I just noticed the base stations that they use in this display are 1.0 base stations. More technology from yesteryear. Great work, HTC. Actually, what the fuck? This headset tracks itself. Why? Anyway, my dad worked for one of the companies that bought these things for their training. Somewhere along the line, one of them went out in a raffle and my dad got one for free. And this would be his very first time in VR. But since there's basically no app ecosystem, immediately inquired if he could trade me for my Quest 3. Because it had a bigger library and what he would soon learn, way nicer lenses. I wasn't going to pass up paying essentially less than half to see if this headset's worth its money. So I traded him, and it was a great deal for me, but this was his first impression of VR. I once got a comment that said something to the effect of, if you have the cable system and a beefy enough GPU, they're basically pancake lenses. Are you stupid? Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Let me tell you a little something. Think of these lenses as a barrier between you and your GPU. You could have as good a GPU as you want and all the pixels you desire. But if your lenses are shit, it's going to completely block you from being able to appreciate any of those other things. Yo, big GPU, better lenses. Like, this isn't how optics work. And just to prove it, I gotta get unhumble for a second. I've tried it with a 5090 and it is still shit. Had to get unhumble there for a minute. Had to get unhumble. I wonder if that's gonna come off really bad. Back to big picture. A new user sees the ad. They buy this. They spend over $1,000. Then they put it on and say, wow, this sucks. VR is a scam. And then the damage is done. This isn't just outdated hardware. It's just straight up misleading and in some cases lying. And I'm not just disappointed in them anymore, I'm actually mad. Because people are getting their first experiences in VR ruined because they were told they were buying something premium and then end up with a steaming hot pile of shit, of hardware that hasn't been able to sell for the last 3 years without a dishonest ad campaign. Regardless, if you've ever had one of these things and were also disappointed by what you got for over $1,000, I desperately want to hear about it, because clearly HTC isn't telling the whole story. Well, now I have to bleep all it out anyway because you got my real name. Call me by my stage name. I'm
my first Zona. I'm
Cherry
fucking
Blossom.
My name is Floopy Blooper, and fucking respect
And I'm
the name.
fucking done with your shit. Let me try completely with hand tracking this time. Some of the benefits of mixed systems is mixed capabilities. This head, hello, I'm in the cube. The triangle, the tetrahedral. This head. Are you excited to overpay for old hardware? HTC putting... There's a funny Telegram sticker on this. I'm 28 years old.